Jamaica yesterday recorded 315 new cases of the COVID-19 virus and confirmed 4 virus-related deaths, pushing the country's tally to 41,328 and the death toll to 622. The police are reporting that the main suspect in the murder of Constable Jermaine Bennett has been shot dead.
We can confirm at this time that the individual who was the main suspect in the murder of Constable Jermaine Bennett was killed in a violent confrontation with members of the constabulary.
A frantic search is still ongoing for missing Clarendon teacher Natalie Dawkins.
Today, as early as 6 a.m., we were joined by the K9 Division together with a group of teachers and supported by drone technology. We have intensified the search for missing teacher Miss Natalie Dawkins.
And the leadership of the Four Paths Primary School in Clarendon says students and teachers are devastated over the ongoing situation.
Overwhelmed with emotions right now, feeling frustrated. Now, if God forbid, if we should have heard the worst about this teacher, I don't know how it is as a school and the PTA body is going to be handling this situation.
Good evening. Jamaica yesterday recorded 315 new cases of the COVID-19 virus and confirmed 4 virus-related deaths, pushing the country's tally to 41,328 and the death toll to 622. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the latest deaths include a 33-year-old woman from St. Catherine, an 88-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 53-year-old man also from Kingston and St. Andrew, and a 72-year-old woman from Portland. The ministry also reported 8 more deaths under investigation and another death as coincidental. Meanwhile, of the new cases, 170 are females and 144 are males, with ages ranging from 2 months old to 96 years old. The sex of one of the new cases is unknown. The new cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 66, St. Catherine, 48 cases, St. Anne, 38, Westmoreland, 32, Trelawney, 22, St. Elizabeth, 20, St. James, 18, Clarendon, 18, Manchester, 17, Hanover, 12, St. Mary, 12, St. Thomas, 11, and Portland, 1. The country also recorded 147 recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 18,444. 5 employees of the St. Anthony's Kitchen that feeds many of the less fortunate in Negril, Westmoreland, have tested positive for COVID-19, resulting in the program being temporarily shut down. Father Jim Buck, pastor of the Mary Gate of Heaven Catholic Church that operates the feeding program, explained how the employees found out they were positive.
Last weekend, several of our employees there were not feeling well. And so on Monday, one of them went to the clinic in Sav. She lives in Sav. She's a parishioner here. And she went back Tuesday to get tested for COVID. They told her 3 to 5 days. Because they were all feeling sick, I thought that it was important that we get them tested. So I got the 3 of them right next door to us here at Coco La Palme in their parking lot. They have a testing for COVID, particularly for tourists is what it is, but it costs a little money to pay, but you get your results back in about 10 minutes. And 2 of the 3 tested positive. That alarmed us, so went and got the other people who work. And as it turns out, 5 of our employees there have tested positive for COVID. I'm happy to say I tested negative, as did several of the other people who work. I'm in and out all the time. I don't work there as such.
Father Buck further explained how this will affect those who depended on the meals in order to have food to eat.
Well, with COVID, since COVID started, at the kitchen, pre-COVID time, we would normally have about 100 people maybe for lunch, Monday through Friday. Since COVID started, for the past year, we've been putting out about 400 meals a day, Monday through Friday. And it worries me and concerns me because just yesterday I posted signs on the gates down there, kitchen closed until further notice. We'll have to be closed this week for sure, and possibly next week. And a lot of the people who are coming to the kitchen are folks who have lost their jobs because of the lack of tourism, and they've been out of work for like a year. So and of course the kids are not in school. So this is going to be an impact, a real negative impact on the community here in Negril, especially those who are a little poor.
Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says he is anticipating a greater turnout for the upcoming island-wide COVID-19 vaccination blitzes as additional stakeholders come on board to assist in encouraging more persons to get vaccinated. People 75 years and older are now being targeted for vaccinations island-wide, with a reservation list to include members of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, JFB, and individuals over 60 years old. Dr. Tufton, who was speaking with the media during Saturday's staging of the second vaccination blitz at the National Arena, where just over 400 persons received the first of 2 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, noted that while Saturday's turnout was affected by rainy conditions, there is also a strong vaccine hesitancy in the country towards the COVID-19 vaccinations. Consequently, he said the government is working with several stakeholders, including the church and the senior citizens, to assist in getting persons inoculated. Dr. Tufton also expressed gratitude to several parliamentarians whom he said assisted with Saturday's proceedings. He further outlined that a key player in the mobilization effort was Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and Member of Parliament for Kingston Western, Desmond McKenzie, who he said was instrumental in getting approximately 80 of his constituents vaccinated. In his remarks, Minister McKenzie said he was optimistic that the local government ministry's involvement in the vaccination drive will go a far way in enhancing the program. He advised that he will be enlisting the assistance of all 63 members of parliament and 230 municipal councillors across Jamaica in further bolstering the initiative. Minister McKenzie encouraged Jamaicans to dispel the false narrative regarding COVID-19 vaccination, stressing that he took it and adding that he experienced mild side effects for a few days. Heightened enforcement activities in the Westmoreland Police Division resulted in 18 persons being arrested, 7 of whom were charged with breaches under the Disaster Risk Management Act, DRMA, yesterday. Reports are that between the hours of 4 p.m. and midnight, an operation was conducted to ensure that persons were obeying the curfew orders. During the operation, coordinated vehicular checkpoints, VCP operations, were carried out along Grange Hill Square, London Square, Tollgate, the Stewie Main Road, and other surrounding communities. A total of 105 vehicles along with 153 persons were stopped and checked. 15 breaches of the Road Traffic Act were detected and 7 tickets were issued. 2 motorcycles were also seized. The operation resulted in a total of 18 persons arrested for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act and Road Traffic Act. Of that number, 7 persons were charged and are scheduled to appear before court at a later date. Meanwhile, the police continue to urge Jamaicans to report illegal gatherings scheduled to take place during the island-wide curfews in an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Additionally, the Jamaica Constabulary Force is encouraging persons who are aware of any illegal parties to tag them on social media or WhatsApp the information to 876-591-5671. The police are reporting that the main suspect in the murder of Constable Jermaine Bennett has been shot dead. The Jamaica Constabulary Force's senior communications strategist, Dennis Brooks, says he was killed in a confrontation with members of the constabulary in Waterford, St. Catherine yesterday.
We can confirm at this time that the individual who was the main suspect in the murder of Constable Jermaine Bennett was killed in a violent confrontation with members of the constabulary yesterday. It happened shortly after 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the Chatsworth Road area of Waterford in St. Catherine South. He is Richard Dawkins, OC Richie Budd. He engaged the police in a violent shootout, at the end of which he was shot and injured. He was taken to a nearby medical facility where he eventually succumbed to his injuries. One Colt .38 revolver and one .32 pistol was seized with assorted rounds of ammunition by the members of the constabulary.
Constable Bennett was shot dead in Gregory Park, St. Catherine last Tuesday night while visiting his 5-week-old daughter in the care of her mother. The quick operational response of the St. Catherine South Police led to the arrest of 2 of the prime suspects in a murder committed on Baptist Road in Gregory Park, St. Catherine on Monday, April 5. Reports are that at about 8:30 p.m., the St. Catherine South Police received information that a man was shot upon their arrival, 27-year-old Shatik Hall was seen lying in a pool of blood in his yard. He was later transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The swift action of lawmen led to an operation at a premises in the area about 9:45 p.m. the same evening. During the operation, 4 persons were arrested. 1 was released and 3 were placed in custody, 2 of whom are believed to be major suspects in the murder. Investigation continues. In other news, a frantic search is still ongoing for missing Clarendon teacher Natalie Dawkins. A team comprised of teachers, citizen volunteers, soldiers, and police officers have been searching since Saturday. The search targeted 4 communities across St. Catherine and Clarendon. The teams have been using machetes to clear land in the areas police intelligence indicated the teacher may have been taken. Assistant Superintendent Eugene Downey from the Clarendon Police Division provided an update on the search.
Today, as early as 6 a.m., we were joined by the K9 Division together with a group of teachers and supported by drone technology. We have intensified the search for missing teacher Miss Natalie Dawkins, who went missing on Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Together we have combed through the Roswell District, Planters Hall District, leading up to Bella's Gate, where the motor vehicle of the teacher was recovered last evening. So far we have not found her, but we will continue to search, and we are encouraging the public to join the police in intensifying this search.
In the meantime, a Toyota Wish motor car belonging to the missing teacher was found last Saturday evening in an area known as Bella's Gates in St. Catherine. 2 men who were in the car shot at the police. The police engaged them and both men were shot. 1 died on the spot while the other managed to escape. The dead man remains unidentified. However, police believe he and the other men were criminals from another parish hiding in the rural St. Catherine district. The police are asking any member of the public with any information that could lead to the whereabouts of the missing teacher who teaches at the Four Paths Primary School to contact the Four Paths Police at 876-987-0429 or 876-987-0489. In the meantime, following the shooting of two non-residents in Bellas Gate, St. Catherine Saturday evening, Mayor of Spanish Town and Chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Norman Scott, is urging citizens to stop harboring outsiders in their communities.
As it relates to this occurrence, I'm hoping that we will find this lady, Miss Dawkins, alive. I'm here because this is a community that I'm very much familiar with. It is one of the very quiet rural communities, and when we hear that criminals are finding themselves in these communities, I'm here to say to the citizens that if you see somebody that you don't know, you are to report it. If you see strange persons in your community, say something to somebody, because it is the only way we are going to be able to flush these criminals out of the society. The fact is, there are some of these youngsters who are from rural communities, and they make friends with other individuals in different communities, and then you find that they use that kind of a network to carry out their criminal activities. And so I'm going to be asking community people, when you see strange individuals in your area, say something. It is now high time that we becomes again our brothers and sisters keeper.
In the meantime, the leadership of the Four Paths Primary School in Clarendon says students and teachers are devastated over the ongoing situation. Principal Rosemary Logan says despite the odds, they are praying teacher Natalie Dawkins will return home safely. Principal Logan spoke with our news team on the first day of the large-scale search for the missing grade 3 teacher.
Overwhelmed with emotions right now, feeling frustrated because Miss Dawkins would have been missing from the 30th of March, this Tuesday. And today is Saturday and we have not heard anything. We don't know whether she's dead or she's alive. So you can just imagine how we are feeling as a school right now. My teachers are sad, of course, about everything that is happening. But this morning, a number of them were out. As a matter of fact, I think all the teachers were out this morning, and even some of our parents were here this morning in solidarity, saying that we need Miss Dawkins to come home. Not just to come home, but come home alive. We don't want to find her body. We want her alive. Yes. This is a teacher who has responsibility of supervising our canteen and our tuck shop. This is a teacher who is very active in the life of the school. On Tuesday, I would have met with Miss Dawkins in my office because we were planning a meeting with all the school improvement plan committee. I would have said to Miss Dawkins, remember our meeting tomorrow. She said, yes, miss, I am going to be there. Even to the point where she was supposed to come in at 8 o'clock the Wednesday morning and prepare the sandwiches for the team. So you can imagine when we did not see her, because she's usually a punctual person, you know how we would have felt about it, right? Now, if, God forbid, if we should have heard the worst about this teacher, I don't know how it is as a school and the PTA body is going to be handling this situation. It's a very traumatic time for us. It's a very frustrating time. It's a very depressing time for us right now.
A reward of $1.5 million is being offered for information that leads to the safe return of Miss Dawkins. A separate $25,000 reward is also being offered for any information that police or the family find useful in their search efforts. Firefighters spent all day Sunday monitoring and trying to contain a morass fire that had been burning in the resort town of Negril up until today, causing smoke to be coming from sections that are still burning. The fire, which covers a wide area of the morass, reportedly started on Saturday and raged throughout Sunday. A morass is a low, soft, wet ground that contains below water decomposition materials from plants and animals that often produce marsh gas, which may self-ignite occasionally. Hotelier and the president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace, said such a fire is not the first for the resort town. Owner of the Sandy Haven Resort, Antoinette Chen, explains that smoke from the fire has affected the property, but they are coping with it.
We have had the fires a lot worse than it is today, although it appears to be more violent. It really isn't as bad as we've had in the past. However, it has created a great deal of smoke in the atmosphere, and as a result, we're also getting a great deal of ash deposited around our gardens and on the property and in our walkways. It'll blow from the very front of the property to the back. Right on the beach, you'll see evidence of ash on the sands even. And I suspect that most of the properties along the beach road are being affected by the ash. Yeah, well, the fire is contained because obviously we don't want any damage to anyone's property. However, it's nature, and we have to also let nature do its part. There are properties on the other side of the road which would be closer to the morass, and the fires could be of concern to them if it's not properly contained. Well, just stay safe and be vigilant and keep your eye open to make sure that your property remains safe, and to stay in contact with our fire brigades.
Father Jim Buck, pastor of the Mary Gate of Heaven Catholic Church along Norman Manley Boulevard, says the fire affected Sunday's service. However, they managed to still have church.
It was here yesterday, although we were shut down most of the day, but it kept burning this morning. I was actually out taking some video in the back because the morass is right behind our churchyard here. And we have service at 10 o'clock. And about 10 o'clock, the fire was raging pretty well, and the smoke was billowing. And during the service, the smoke was very much coming into the church. And just before the preaching, we're limited. We only had 10 people in church because of the COVID protocol, but those all came to the side door because it was so intense, and the smoke. Soot all over inside the church. It doesn't take long for the soot to build up, and we've been through this before. Oh, this would probably be among the worst. But it eventually let up. We finished our church service. So at the moment, I'm not too worried. But I was just over at the Rayon Hotel next door. Miss Pansy, who's the proprietor, I went back to see her. She was back with her garden hose. They're burning some loose grass and so on, lest it catch fire. But their property, the buildings, go back a lot further than ours. We do have a tank of water, but if that would be depleted. But right now, we're getting sufficient water from the system.
For his part, Mr. Wallace explained that this affects not just residents and businesses, but also environment and animal species living in the morass.
Every year, sometimes more than once per year, we do have a morass fire. And as you know, like clockwork, we're having one again, usually during the dry season, especially when it's windy. But this is a normal occurrence. We have it almost every year, and sometimes more than once per year. The fire is usually concentrated in the morass. It affects the ecosystem there because it disrupts the function of the morass. It affects the natural plant life there and the animals that live there. And it does affect the function of the morass. So we're very concerned about it. It also affects while there's no real report of damage to private property, usually the effects that it has on the community is more the smoke from the fire and the soot that messes up everything, downwind of the fire. But so that's a serious concern for us. These fires are affecting the environment. They are killing the wildlife. The crabs, the turtles, the birds that live in the morass. They're being killed by this fire. The not just animal species but plant species are being devastated by the fires. And the morass is part of our ecosystem, and it performs certain functions that are vital to the sustainability of Negril as a tourist destination. And these fires do affect that.
The Negril Chamber of Commerce president also explained that they are not sure if the fire is man-made or a natural occurrence, but it's most likely the latter.
We're not absolutely sure if it's man-made or if it's natural, but we're not surprised that it could be natural because there are many ways that the fire could ignite in the morass. Remember, we're sitting on a huge peat deposit here, and peat is a fuel, and once the time is dry and there is sunshine, a lot of sunshine, and it's hot, and it's easy for it to ignite. I'm not ruling out that it could be caused by humans, but that is the most probable solution, the way we think that it's causing the fire. So there is a project already in progress. It's the IWECO project, which as a matter of fact, I'm the chairman of the project steering committee. And what that project is pretty much the re-wetting of the morass, among other things. And that should help with the fires that we're having. What that entails is, back in the day, the morass was drained. There were canals that were dug and so to drain the water from the morass, and that we believe contributed to these fires.
In pointing out that the fire department is not equipped to fight these fires, it was explained that with the IWECO project, this will not be an issue as the probability of future fires will be reduced.
The reality is that the fire department is not equipped to fight these types of fires, and it's not that's not surprising. As I said, these fires require specialized equipment, maybe helicopters and stuff like that, because there's absolutely no way that the fire department, with the present equipment that they have, can get over into the morass. But they're doing a pretty good job. They monitor. They're up and down the strip as we speak right now. They're monitoring the areas, and wherever the fire comes close to any kind of development, then they are there to protect. But that is something that we can maybe look at. But if the IWECO project is successful, then we will probably not have as many of these fires as we're having now. So we probably won't need to have those type of equipment in urgency.
And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories with entrepreneurs who are now a part of the pilot phase of the e-commerce National Delivery System ENDS program, which kicked off in Portmore, St. Catherine over a week ago, thanking the government for rolling out the new initiative, and the National Council for Senior Citizens expanding its Meals on Wheels feeding program to several rural communities. But first, let's take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.